Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the artifact portion of this now. So let's go back to our module in Canvas, where we see that we have all the different things. So in our pacing guide, if you remember, it said that we're going to have an artifact as our last thing. So we've set up our pages. You have the various assignments where you'll make your philosophy of education. You probably haven't done that yet. You probably haven't made your resume and cover letter yet, but you're going to get all those created in class and uploaded. But then the artifact is the next thing that's a little bit confusing. So an artifact is an assignment you do in your class that you can use to prove that you've met these in-task standards. So you're going to need to, on each in-task standard page, upload your artifact with a description, a rationale, and a reflection learning goals in order to prove that you have mastered that standard or that you're on your way to mastering that standard. So let's go ahead and look at the portfolio module for that. So we see here, this is your assignment. So you have your instructions about doing your artifact, the description, the rationale, and it gives you all of that. The rubric down here breaks down how you'll be graded for it. And notice all of these pieces are included in here. So you want to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So if you look, there is a sample description and rationale where it shows you what you need to include in that information. So notice this is a solid paragraph at least, and it ties directly to the standard. It shows why this assignment meets that in-task standard. So then if we look at the reflection, you'll notice that you have 3 questions to answer here. What does the artifact represent about me as a teacher? How does it represent my personal growth and strengths? And what skills do I want to improve in this standard? So you're going to want to include all of that on here. The way that you do is completely up to you. So if we look, so let's go to standard 2 because the description here says standard 2. So here is my standard 2 page. So how do I want to present this? Well, there are a whole bunch of different ways that you can present this. It's completely up to you. Some people like to put it in as text documents. If you put it in a Word document and then put it in there, a Google Drive and then link it. It's really nice to do the Google Drive and then link it because then as you edit it in Google Drive, it automatically updates the web page. It's really up to you though. Some people just want to go the simple way and put it in as text. And so they have the title and then pull from here what this includes. So description. And then you can put your information in. Really, the way you set it up is completely up to you, but you have a whole bunch of different options there. So you want to include your description, you want to include your rationale, and then you want to include your reflection or your learning goals in this area. So make sure you include all of that. However, you also have to include the actual artifact. So there's various ways you can do it. As we said before, you can embed it if it's in Google Drive or if it's saved as a PDF. You can put it right into the page here. You can add it as media where it then puts the link there. So if I have a Word document, it'll give me a fancy Word document thing so you can see where it is and then people can download it. It is really up to you how you present it on here, but you want to make sure to get all of those pieces of information onto this page. The last part of that assignment we saw was the pacing guide, and that is right in your pacing guide here. So portfolio pacing guide. So for that part of the assignment, you have all of your things marked off for this class. You have said that you have completed all of the things that you needed to complete in 101. And then hold on for a second because I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom here. And you have the artifact tracking sheet. And on the artifact tracking sheet, you're going to write the name of each of the assignments that you did in this class, what class it is, what date you did them, and what in-task standard that assignment ties to show that you're on your way to mastering. So now sometimes you're like, oh, I'm not sure exactly what meets what. Well, there's a whole bunch of resources we give you here to help figure that out. So one is this in task standards with possible artifacts, where you see that there are standards with some different things that you may or may not have done in order to meet those standards. And there are a whole bunch of options here from various program chairs around the state of things that they do that meet each of these standards. So this is always a wonderful place to go look for ideas of what to do. Also, this link that we gave you here has a lot of really great information on each of the standards. And so when you go in here and you get to the standard part, sorry, there's a lot of scrolling right now. Once we get to the standards. Okay, so standard one, there are all sorts of ideas on here of things that teachers do to show that they know these various standards and that they are masters of them. So it is a really great way to find ideas also, because you get a greater depth of knowledge of each standard.